In the pursuit of physical perfection, some dreams cost far more than anyone ever imagined. Behind the gleaming trophies and sculpted physiques lies a darker reality. Men and women who sacrificed everything for this sport, only to pass away before they ever reached 30. Some passed mid-workout, some passed on the way to a competition, some simply went to sleep and never woke up. Today we are counting down the most premature deaths in bodybuilding history, and the youngest name on this list might shock you more than any of the others. Number 1. Wang Kun. Wang Kun lived like a monk. That is not an exaggeration. The Chinese bodybuilding champion himself used that exact phrase to describe his lifestyle. For nearly a decade, he ate the same simple meals every single day. Boiled chicken, meat dipped in soy sauce, hot pot broth, no alcohol, no smoking, no shortcuts. And it worked. Wang Kun won 8 consecutive national titles at the Chinese Bodybuilding Association Championships, 8 in a row. He turned pro with the IFBB in 2022 and became one of the most respected names in Chinese bodybuilding. He owned his own gym called Muscle Factory, and he was preparing to open a second location in Hefei, a project he called his new beginning. He looked completely healthy just days before. On December 17, 2025, Wang Kun passed away suddenly. Officials from the Anhui Provincial Bodybuilding Association said it appeared to be a heart problem. No accident, no foul play. He simply collapsed. He was 30 years old, the man who avoided every indulgence, who trained with monk-like discipline for 10 straight years, who did everything the textbook tells you to do. His heart gave out anyway. Before we go any further, try to guess. If the bodybuilder we end this list with passed away at 30, what do you think was the youngest age on this entire list? Drop your guess in the comments before you reach the end. The next bodybuilder on this list had over 8 million followers watching his every workout. 3 days before he passed, all he mentioned was a pain in his neck. Number 2, Joe Lindner. If you were on fitness social media in the early 2020s, you knew this face. Joe Lindner, known online as Joe Aesthetics, built one of the largest fitness followings in the world. Over 8 million followers on Instagram, close to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He became famous for a unique party trick, making his uniquely striped chest muscles ripple in a wave-like motion, something he nicknamed his alien gains. He competed and won the German National Championship in 2014 and the European Championship the year after. He came agonizingly close to earning his IFBB Pro card in 2022, finishing as runner-up in a qualifier event. He was living in Bangkok, Thailand, building his brand, his app, and his supplement company. 3 days before his passing, he mentioned to his girlfriend that his neck was hurting. Neither of them thought much of it. On June 30th, 2023, Joe Lindner collapsed at home. His girlfriend was with him. She tried to help. It happened too fast. The cause was a ruptured aneurysm, likely in the carotid artery, the vessel that supplies blood directly to the brain. He was 30 years old. A simple neck pain, dismissed as nothing. It was actually the only warning his body gave before it was too late. The next man on this list had no warning signs at all. He was simply working out with friends when his heart stopped completely. Number 3. Jose Mateus Correa Silva. Jose Mateus Correa Silva was the kind of person who did everything right. He was a lawyer. He had completed a nutrition course. He ran his own supplement business in Brazil. He had competed in bodybuilding events including the Arnold Classic South America, and even though he had stepped back from active competition, he stayed deeply involved in the sport, coaching younger athletes and staying in incredible shape. He was engaged. He had a wedding planned. He had a future mapped out. On November 22nd, 2024, he was training at the gym with friends like he always did. Mid-workout, he suddenly felt unwell and collapsed. One of his friends happened to be a firefighter. He rushed Jose to the nearest fire station immediately, where emergency responders began CPR. They worked on him for over an hour. It was not enough. Jose Mateus Correa Silva was pronounced gone at the scene. His brother later said he had no prior health conditions, no warning signs, nothing that would have predicted this. He was 28 years old. His funeral was held 2 days later. So many people came to say goodbye that the chapel could not fit everyone inside. A man with no known illness, no red flags, no reason to expect what happened, and yet, gone in a single workout. The next name on this list went to sleep one night and simply never woke up. No pain, no struggle, just silence. Number 4. Sophia Graham. The NPC competitor had already placed high at Junior Nationals, USA Nationals, and North Americans. She was just weeks away from her next competition, one more step toward the IFBB Pro card she had been chasing for years. She worked as a dental assistant during the day. At night, she trained relentlessly, never letting go of the goals she had been building toward since she started this journey. But Sophia was not just a competitor. She played cello. She helped train dental students. She lit up every room she walked into. People who knew her described her as quirky, vibrant, and full of energy. One night during peak training season, Sophia went to sleep. She never woke up. No final words, no warning signs, no struggle. Sophia Graham was 27 years old, and she was close, really close. Reports suggest she may have had an undiagnosed heart condition. Others believe the relentless pressure of competition prep had simply pushed her body past what it could sustain. The truth is, nobody knows for certain. What is certain is this. A young woman who was weeks away from the goals she had worked toward for years went to bed one night, and her heart simply stopped while she slept. The next bodybuilder on this list had a heart that doctors later found was nearly 3 times its normal size. He never even made it to the hospital. Number 5, Dallas McCarver. Dallas McCarver was supposed to be the future of the sport. Big country. The Tennessee farm boy who earned his pro status at just 21 years old, an age when most competitors are still figuring out the basics. Standing around 6 feet 1 inch, he competed at 255 to 265 pounds on stage, while carrying close to 300 pounds in the off-season. A 34-inch waist at that size. He placed 13th at the 2015 Mr. Olympia and was widely considered one of the most promising young heavyweights in the entire sport. Major sponsorship deals, a high-profile relationship, a career that looked like it was only just getting started. On August 22, 2017, a friend found him unresponsive in his kitchen just after midnight. Early reports suggested he may have choked on food, but the full autopsy told a far more serious story. The real cause was an acute cardiac event driven by severe left ventricular hypertrophy. His heart weighed 833 grams. The normal adult male heart weighs around 300 grams. Dallas McCarver's heart was nearly 3 times the size it should have been. His liver was enlarged. His kidneys were damaged. He had undiagnosed thyroid cancer that nobody knew about until the autopsy. He was 26 years old. A career that should have produced multiple Olympia appearances never got the chance to continue. The next person on this list followed every rule of clean eating. Egg whites, lean meats, protein shakes. That exact discipline is what took her life. Number 6, Megan Hefford. Megan Hefford looked like the picture of perfect health, a mother of 2, a disciplined competitor preparing for her next bodybuilding show. A strict high-protein diet that most people in the sport would call ideal. Egg whites, lean meats, protein shakes. On June 19, 2017, she was found unresponsive in her apartment in Western Australia. Days later, she was gone. There was no warning, no known illness, just silence and questions that nobody could answer. It was only after her passing that the truth came out. Megan had an undiagnosed genetic condition called a urea cycle disorder. It is a rare condition that quietly prevents the body from properly breaking down protein. When someone with this disorder consumes too much protein, toxic levels of ammonia begin building up in the bloodstream and eventually in the brain. By the time symptoms appear, confusion, fatigue, collapse, it is often already too late. Megan did not know she had this condition. Nobody around her did either. Doctors do not routinely test for it, and the early symptoms are easily mistaken for stress or a common flu. Her mother later found protein containers and a competition meal plan in her kitchen. That is when everything started to make tragic sense. She did everything a dedicated competitor is supposed to do, and the exact discipline that was supposed to build her body is what ultimately took her life. The next case on this list did not happen in a gym or during competition prep. It happened in a clinic, during a procedure that had nothing to do with bodybuilding at all. Number 7, Odalis Santos Mina. Odalis Santos Mina was 23 years old, and she was rising fast. Known online as the Mexican Kim Kardashian, she already had titles behind her. including Miss and Mr. Hercules 2019. She had 147,000 followers, a growing fitness brand, and a bikini competition lined up in the United States that very week. In July 2021, she agreed to promote a popular underarm procedure designed to reduce sweating. It was supposed to be simple, a quick treatment in and out of the clinic. It was anything but routine. She was put under anesthesia, not by a trained anesthesiologist, but reportedly by an unqualified clinic worker. Within moments, her body reacted. Cardiac arrest. The staff attempted CPR. It was already too late. Later reports revealed Odalis had been using common bodybuilding compounds, clenbuterol, creatine, and oxandrolone. When those substances mixed with the anesthesia administered that day, the combination proved catastrophic. Her family called it negligence. Investigators agreed. The clinic was not even properly licensed to perform the procedure. Odalis did not pass away chasing fame, and she did not pass away on a competition stage. She lost her life trusting the wrong hands in a treatment room that should have taken 20 minutes. She was 23 years old. The next bodybuilder on this list had 2 million followers watching his every move. He was found in his kitchen by a friend, and nobody saw it coming. Number 8. Gabriel Ganley. Gabriel Ganley was known online as Bubzinho, Little Baby. It was an ironic nickname for someone who had built one of the most impressive physiques in Brazilian bodybuilding by the age of 22. 2 million followers on Instagram, 1 million on TikTok, nearly 500,000 YouTube subscribers. He had started lifting at 15, and his mother had limited him to 3 gym sessions a week out of fear he would injure himself. That fear turned out to be about something else entirely. On the morning of May 23, 2026, a friend found Gabriel unresponsive in the kitchen of his São Paulo apartment. Authorities found no signs of violence at the scene, but the passing was classified as sudden and unexplained, prompting an investigation. Tributes poured in almost immediately. Fellow bodybuilders described him as always happy, always playful, always making the people around him laugh. His sponsor released a statement that captured what the entire fitness community was feeling. They said they had lost far more than a talented athlete. They had lost someone who inspired thousands of young people every single day. Weeks later, his death certificate listed the cause as hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a condition where the heart muscle becomes abnormally thick, making it harder for the heart to pump blood effectively. He was 22 years old, a young man with millions of followers, immense charisma, and what should have been decades still ahead of him. The next person on this list was not even competing that day. She was simply there to help. She never made it home. Number 9, Jody Vance. Jody Vance was only 20 years old, and she had not even gone there to compete. She had traveled to the Arnold Sports Festival in Ohio to coach and support other athletes, using her own time to help people chase the same dream she was chasing herself. She had recently placed 3rd at the NPC Battle of Texas and was rising fast in the women's physique world. While at the expo, she suddenly felt sick. She was rushed to the hospital. Her heart stopped. Doctors tried everything. They could not bring her back. Her family later revealed what had actually happened. Jody passed away from complications related to severe dehydration. Her coach admitted that she had taken 2 extremely hazardous substances without telling him or her own family, a decision that likely triggered the dangerous dehydration that ultimately took her life. She was not even on stage that day, but behind the scenes, away from the cameras and the competition lights, her body had already been pushed too far. Her Instagram was full of motivation, smiles, and progress photos right up until the end. Behind every one of those posts was a pressure she had clearly been carrying entirely alone. She had gone to that expo to help other people reach the stage. She never got the chance to reach her own. The final name on this list is the youngest on this entire video. He once weighed over 220 pounds as an overweight teenager. By the time the world knew his name, he had transformed his entire life. He never got to enjoy it. Number 10. Matthias Pavlak. Matthias Pavlak's story should have been the most inspiring one on this entire list. As a teenager in Brazil, he struggled with obesity. In 2019, he decided to change his life completely. Over the next 5 years, he transformed himself so dramatically that he became a genuine icon in his home country. His before and after photos went viral across Brazilian social media, inspiring thousands of young people who saw themselves in his starting point. His former coach, Lucas Chagatti, met him in 2022, and together they set their sights on turning Matthias into a real champion. He won the under-23 division at a regional competition, earning him the title of Mr. Blumenau in his hometown. He placed in the top 10 at several other competitions across Santa Catarina. He captioned one of his transformation posts with words that perfectly summed up his journey. No matter how difficult or impossible your dream is, if you really want it, you will get there. I did. On September 1st, 2024, Matthias was found unresponsive at his home. The cause was a heart attack. His former coach posted a heartbreaking tribute saying Matthias had a brilliant future ahead of him as a respected athlete, and that the tragedy had taken everyone by surprise. He was 19 years old, a teenager who had spent years overcoming one of the hardest struggles a young person can face, and had finally built the body and the life he had always dreamed of. He had only just gotten there, and then he was gone. 10 names, 10 ages, ranging from 19 to 30, 10 completely different causes, heart conditions nobody knew about, a clinic procedure that went wrong, a genetic disorder hidden inside a body that looked perfectly healthy, dehydration that nobody noticed until it was too late. What connects every single name on this list is simple. Every one of them was young, every one of them was disciplined, and every one of them believed they had time. Before you finish watching this video, here is something to think about. Out of everyone on this list, what do you think was the youngest age at which someone passed away? Write your guess in the comments before you scroll to find out. You might be surprised. And if you are someone who competes in this sport or someone thinking about starting, here is the real question this video should leave you with. What did you take away from these 10 stories? Tell us in the comments, because the lessons hidden inside these 10 lives might matter more than any competition ever will.